Hi, welcome back to Scholastically Natalie. For once, I don't have the air conditioner on in the background. This really is an accomplishment. Anyways, if you are new here and you're interested in D&D content, writing content, book content, well, to be honest, it's probably more like literature content, because only resigning yourself to books leaves you kind of missing out on some more interesting options of literature. But if you're interested in any of that, feel free to subscribe to my channel. It may be small, but hopefully I'm mildly interesting. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like. And for anyone who's actually been keeping up with me on Twitter or is part of the friend group that comes to Twitch streams because they love me, thank you. I love you too. But I have been streaming on Twitch recently, whether it's writing for the collab between me and Mun on Tumblr, or if it has recently, it's been Franbo. Chapters 1 through 3 have been streamed, and I have put their live streams on the channel, and hopefully I'll be doing part 4, and I think there's a 5. I don't remember exactly how many chapters it has been fun. I've been having fun playing it. I'm not normally somebody who plays a lot of like PC games, so it's definitely fun for me. I'm honestly debating on buying another game that I listened to GT Live play while I was working, and it's on sale right now, so I might buy that, because some of GT Live's games sound like a crap ton of fun. But anyways, moving on from my newfound interest in games, we're going to talk about tabletop games. Specifically D&D, and this is the third part of my Catering to Players series. This one's focusing on Disinterest, and how I kind of deal with that as a DM. So, this is a specific case. I will not be using names, of course, because I have no interest in dragging somebody. But I did have some players initially express interest in my campaign, because other people we played with were in it, and it was less serious than our usual campaign. Like, we all take legitimate notes during our other campaign, and with the current one, with mine, people would take notes and stuff, but, we messed around a bit. There was more laughing. And I mean, I'm not a super serious DM, so that worked well. I just kind of expect you to chill with my world and not be a annoying jerk about stuff. So I did want to talk about reactionary versus inciting DMs, because there is a difference between like what type of DM you are, and I kind of put it into these two categories. A reactionary DM, basically the players are making decisions and you're reacting to it. So if the players move on from a quest line and they don't participate in it, that's fine. If the players want to take an hour to roleplay clothes shopping, I'm doing it. Even if it might seem like kind of like laggy or draggy, if everybody or the majority of everybody is having fun, guess what? We're doing it. We're gonna roleplay airport customs for 3 hours. I will also force you to ride on a boat for the last half of a semester because I suck. Which nobody enjoyed, but I made up for it by giving them Valley Girl fish. It's a long story. But, like, I'm definitely a person who you'll say, or you'll start doing something and everybody's having fun, and so you're just gonna do it until you have a natural conclusion. So, like, I'm generally not one person who's gonna, like, start, giving you plot hooks. Well, I'll give you plot hooks, but if you don't take them, I won't put you in a position where you need to take them, which is just my DMing style. And then there's an inciting DM who, like, will make sure to keep the story moving at a pace they want it to move, with, like, purposefully placed dungeons, or like, hey, here's a plot hook, hey, here's something that's going to keep this mystery going. And, like, it's not railroading, because that's just, you have no options. It's more of like, if you have this goal, I'm going to make sure you're taking steps to meet that goal, rather than letting you branch off into a weird side quest. Which is definitely what I allow my players to do. Hashtag, hello the island of the small beans. I mean, like, for me, the style's bad. They both bring their own advantages and disadvantages. But for me as a reactionary DM with Disinterest, it doesn't work great for me. So one of my players joined and pretty quickly realized that my campaign was like 90% role playing and like 10% combat, because like literally nobody was interested in combat. They all talked their ways out of it. And I mean, I am a relatively lax DM. Like, I'm not like, oh no, you insulted this noble, now they're going to assassinate you. But they will get a plot twist or a flip in perspective that will give them consequences eventually. One of my players, his backstory was that he stole the sword that he bonded to, which was a demon sword. A god hunted him down, broke his sword because it was a powerful demon, and he bonded with a new sword. And what ended up happening was that the place that he stole the sword from tracked his ass down and was like, hey, we need that sword back or you're gonna pay. And he literally couldn't give it back because it was broken. So what they do, they kidnap the Dragonborn and we're gonna run some experiments on him, and the rest of the party had to make their way there and get him back. Something nobody was expecting to do. And like this specific player, he didn't enjoy any consequences I had for them, and my tendency to flip them around and they'd end up being the bad guys in a situation, or they'd end up having done the wrong thing, which worked for everybody else because they were enjoying being a party of murder hobos, honestly. They were happy as clams. Well, not very murdery murder hobos. Just a bunch of sociopaths, really. And so, for me, I ended up coming to a position that I don't think many people would agree with, but, like, I didn't really go out of my way to be like, here's stuff that you'd be interested in. Because one, I didn't even know what he was interested in. Because he didn't really talk during sessions, and like whenever people be like, oh, I have this goal, he never had a goal, or at least not one that he communicated well enough to me for me to understand it to be a goal. And he didn't seem to have anything he wanted for his characters, or at least something that was like concrete enough that it fit in with everybody else's. So it was kind of difficult to accommodate. And I mean, he did have some good goes for later characters because he kind of fit in with the groove of everybody else's. He eventually was kind of like, oh yeah, this would work for this character. Oh, I could do this with this character. And so it did work, but he still eventually fell back into the pattern of, I don't really care that much. So I just went with it until he hit upon something that he would enjoy, because him and I have opposite thought processes on the best days. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it probably was something I could have handled better, because I, as a DM, had many control issues, as I did, and clearly my choice in profession did not help my control issues. But for me, for a while, I had a lot of people trying to be like, well, not even doing it as like a malicious way, but, you know, telling me how I should run my campaign and how I should, and like what they wanted, or like what they thought I should do. And I don't know, you know, like when you get super defensive over like something you've made, and even when somebody suggests something that might even be a good improvement to it, you're like, no, it's mine, don't touch it. Yeah, I kind of hit that for a while, because it felt like a majority of my players like just didn't care that much about my campaign. And well, yes, I did know that mine was a bit less serious than our other one. It isn't really nice to have somebody kind of be like, oh, well, I don't take yours seriously because we have fun and mess around. And I was kind of like, okay, cool. I mean, I put work into it, but yeah, sure. I don't know. It just kind of felt like, you know, my effort was being looked down upon, I suppose I should say. Like, any effort I put in wasn't enough to make them care about it, essentially. Like, it was just a place for them to come and mess around, and if they wrecked a few things, they didn't care. And so it did suck. Like, I felt like that for probably the entire second half of the campaign. And of course, it didn't help that I was getting more and more stressed by, like, student teaching and stuff, and that did not improve my mindset. But yes, I was not in the best frame of mind to encounter somebody who was entirely not interested in anything that I was interested in doing with the campaign, and that everybody else seemed to go along with, but it kind of, dampened any of their enthusiasm for it, because when you have just an entirely silent player in the back occasionally making snarky comments, it kind of lowers the enjoyment level for everyone else. And I'm gonna be honest, like, personally, I think that if you're not having fun playing D&D, why are you at the table? Like, maybe I was misreading the signals, but I, as a DM, by the time we got to, like, probably the last semester I was running, he was clearly unhappy, or at least he clearly had zero interest in anything that we were doing. And whenever anybody tried to include him in what was happening, he wasn't even paying enough attention to what was going on. So I was kind of like, why are you still playing? Like, if you just want to hang out, you can always not play and then just come sit and, like, talk to people. We've had people do that in my campaign a lot. Like, nobody minds. So it was just kind of like a strange spot for probably both me and him. But yeah, I ended up feeling a lot like my campaign was kind of just like a spot for people to try out combinations they wanted to, and only like 3 or 4 people took it seriously. I don't know, I have a lot of mixed feelings about my campaign because I could have put more effort into it, but when a lot of people treat your campaign like a joke, you don't really want to put effort into it. I don't know. It's a strange dichotomy. I have a lot of bittersweet memories from it. But I do think that the good of our campaign outweighed the bad. We got quite a few new friends out of it, and I am very glad we had them involved in that campaign, and we got to deepen our bond with each other, and I've made some wonderful friends from D&D. I always think it's a lot of fun, but as the RPG Horror Stories subreddit would tell you, no D&D is better than bad D&D. And what you count as bad D&D is really up to you and whether you enjoy it or not. If your DM's a dick, if a player's a dick, if you simply don't enjoy anything that is happening in the campaign at the current moment, take a break, man. Be mysteriously sick for the next 3 weeks. Or even say, hey, I'm not interested in anything that's happening in the campaign right now. I'd like to just maybe come back when we're done doing this thing. Or just don't play and come watch, and when you think that they're in a better position, join again. I think there's a lot of different solutions. I mean, I'm happy to confront people I don't know very well, but for people that I have friendship with, I apparently have a lot of anxiety about talking to them about that friendship, or doing anything to rock our friendship boat. So for me to confront somebody that I've been friends with for a while, it's going to take a lot more than them being not very interested in my D&D campaign. So for me, with somebody who doesn't often seem interested in the way that I think or coming around to my way of talking, I'm not gonna be like, oh, why don't you want to participate in my campaign? That's never something that I kind of work up to getting at. I mean, I probably should have, but I don't know when I'll ever be mentally strong enough to do such a thing. At heart, I am a chicken. As most people are. All people are naturally cowards, honestly. Everybody is scared of rejection in one way or another from certain people, or maybe just one person, or even a pet. We all have our weaknesses. I don't know, this got weirdly deep towards the end. I knew this would be kind of a hard episode to record for me because I don't even know if I'm friends with that player anymore. Probably not. So for me, it's a lot of looking back at things and wondering what went wrong. If you've made it to this section, thank you for listening to my psychobabble as I analyze myself. This got into a lot more about me than I wanted it to. I would really just want to talk about how do you guys handle like players that you don't mesh well with, like not that you guys fight all the time, but like your personalities are kind of opposite, or like you don't understand how each other thinks. Players that aren't interested in your campaign, players that I don't know, just kind of don't want to be there, which again, it's a voluntary activity. I don't know why people who don't want to be there don't just leave, but you know, that's just me. I would not make myself miserable by sitting at a table for 8 hours when I didn't want to be there. But how do you guys handle that sort of thing? Clearly I'm not going to be telling you all the juicy details about, you know, why things have gone wrong. And I do have regrets about how, even with this specific player, how things ended up kind of playing out at the table and like decisions I made and me kind of, I don't know how to say it, because like it's more of just like maybe being too heavy-handed in consequences. I'm not sure. I don't know. I try to accommodate players, but sometimes it's hard. I don't know, guys. It's ended up turning into a heavy episode of catering to players. If you've been watching or listening to any streams of Franbo, thank you. I honestly would be interested in hearing your opinions on the game. I've been enjoying it, but I'm also a giant nerd for storytelling and psychology, and eventually once I'm able to edit like a better than I can now, I would actually be interested in talking about like Franbo's story and like the meaning behind it, and like because the ending is so strange. I know how it ends. I know it's so weird, but I don't know. I like to make sure that I'm going to enjoy a game, and I wasn't even planning on buying it when I was watching it. And keep in mind, Franbo, if you are watching it, planning on watching it, it's not going to be suitable for all audiences. There's a lot of gore, a lot of horror elements, jump scares, very few, but there are jump scares. So much blood. And there are brief mentions of sexual assault, more specifically, that stuff with minors. There are brief mentions of suicide, stuff you might not want to encounter if that's going to trigger you. Again, it's not things that the game focuses on for very long, but they are mentioned specifically. There is also graphic animal death at one point, which again, it is not a realistically drawn, it's more Tim Burton-esque, so you are a step removed because it is animated. But again, if you are not into that, I would advise against watching it. Okay, wanted to give out that warning. But yes, thank you for listening to this episode. Sorry it got really deep at the end. I'm debating on cutting it out, but honestly, I want to be honest, and this is what's been kind of sitting in the back of my mind, and I've been hesitant about recording this. So I kind of want to do it tonight when I'm kind of, you know, in a pretty good headspace for it and feeling good about it. I finished reading a super cute Boku no Hero fan fiction. It's completely amazing. Hold on, let me look at the title so I can tell you. It's called Hero Class Civil Warfare by Rogue Druid. Completely awesome. It's about a simulation of hero versus villain, but Izuku is head of the villains and Bakugo is head of the heroes. It's really good. It's super fun. Anyways. Oh, And one last thing, I have organized my desk. I'm very proud of myself. I've been listening to Marie Kondo's audiobook about the art of tidying up. I will probably do a book review on it because it's absolutely amazing. I love the person who's reading it. She does so well. I know it's not Marie Kondo because this is an English audiobook, and judging from her show, Marie Kondo does not know enough English to do an audiobook, and this person does not have a Japanese accent, so clearly it's not Marie Kondo. I love her. She's adorable. I watched her entire Netflix show. It brought me so much happiness, and listening to this audiobook made me even happier. I have done so much organizing, and it's made me really happy. Honestly, my ideal profession might be decorating / organizing people's rooms. Don't ask me why. I love it. It makes me very happy. But anyways, thanks to everyone who listened, has made it this far. I'm probably not going to cut much of this audio out because I feel like, if you're listening to this background something, you got something to listen to. If you are actually interested in what I'm saying, maybe you'll get something out of this. Maybe you'll have a good insight for me. I always welcome insights. But anyways, I feel like I'm now just putting off stopping this recording because speaking into a microphone with nobody in front of me is, of course, as always, very nice and weirdly freeing. So, in the interest of time, I'm going to bed so that I can wake up for work tomorrow not feeling like a dead raccoon. Scholastically Natalie, out.